AMD just hit a new 52-week high of $226, and it's still up nearly 70% this year. Why? Well, AMD just signed a deal with OpenAI that could change everything. We're talking about 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs, enough computing power to light up 5 million homes, all going to fuel OpenAI's next generation of AI infrastructure. So here's the question. Is AMD finally catching up to NVIDIA? Or did investors just price in 4 years of hype in just one trading session? Because AMD says this deal could generate over $100 billion in new revenue. And OpenAI now has warrants to buy up to 10% of AMD shares for a penny each, 1 cent a share. If this plays out the way AMD thinks, this deal could redefine who controls the backbone of AI computing. If it doesn't, it could be one of the most expensive what-ifs in semiconductor history. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what this deal means, the numbers, the upside, and the one signal that's buried in the fine print that could tell us whether AMD is truly becoming the next NVIDIA, or if this rally just went too far. My name is Rick Orford. I've been trading since 1999, and I am not a financial advisor. That is a good thing. I don't do hype. I break down the numbers so retail investors like you and me can make smarter, more confident decisions with their money. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's get into it. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/Ricko to get your 10 stock picks right now. Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, is a global semiconductor leader that specializes in CPUs, GPUs, and accelerators for data centers, PCs, gaming, and embedded systems. The company was founded originally in 1969, and it's become a key player in nearly every single corner of modern computing today. The business has 4 major segments. It's data center, client, gaming, and embedded. And there's a twist, right? AMD isn't just selling chips anymore. These guys are building entire ecosystems. Beyond hardware, AMD developed software stacks like the ROCm, which is an open ecosystem for optimizing workloads and building AI applications. In English, it basically means that developers can actually build, train, and deploy AI directly on AMD systems, not just buy the parts. This combination of hardware and software is what makes AMD more than just a chip maker. It's turning the company into a platform company. So I think you could say it's fair that AMD is quietly transforming itself from a parts supplier into a full-stack AI enabler, and that shift changes everything. Now, let's see what's going on with the stock, because AMD recently hit a new 52-week high of $226.71 on October 6th. On October 6th, and closed at $203.71. Year to date, the stock is up 69%, and over the last 52 weeks, it's up 19%. That kind of move doesn't just happen by accident, and it's left a lot of investors asking themselves, what drove AMD's price that high? It's a question that's come up in my Discord channel before, so let's cover it. Because whenever a stock rallies this fast, there's always something, a catalyst, and in this case, it's pretty massive. On October 6, 2025, AMD and OpenAI officially announced a multi-year strategic partnership that could redefine the AI infrastructure landscape. Under this deal, OpenAI is now going to deploy as much as 6 gigawatts worth of AMD GPUs to power OpenAI's infrastructure. This deal represents one of the largest compute commitments in AI history. To put that into perspective, it's like OpenAI buying an entire power grid, but just for GPUs. AMD and OpenAI will also work closely to improve how their hardware and software work together. And this will align on future product roadmaps and optimize platforms like ROCm and PyTorch. And this partnership makes AMD now a key technology partner and major supplier of computing power for OpenAI's next generation AI systems. That's not just another deal, that's now validation from one of the most important AI companies on earth. So, how could this deal impact AI? Well, from a financial perspective, this partnership could really become a game changer. AMD executives estimate the deal will generate tens of billions in annual revenue once fully ramped up, and potentially exceed over $100 billion over the next 4 years when you account for the ripple effects across related customers and suppliers. In other words, this isn't a short-term headline, it's a long-term structural shift in where AI money is flowing. Now, as part of the agreement, AMD issued a warrant granting OpenAI the right to purchase up to 160 million AMD shares for a penny each. And it's exercisable based on deployment milestones and AMD share price targets. The first tranche vests following the first gigawatt deployment, and further tranches depend on scaling towards the full 6 gigawatts. If fully exercised, OpenAI could acquire up to 10% of the AMD's entire outstanding shares. Translation: if AMD delivers, OpenAI becomes one of its biggest shareholders for practically nothing. That, folks, is high risk and high reward. Now, at the same time, AMD's CEO, Dr. Lisa Su, said that the collaboration enables the world's most ambitious AI build-out. And investors, they clearly agreed. AMD shares closed up more than 23% in a single day, adding roughly $80 billion in market cap, the company's largest one-day gain in nearly a decade. Now, beyond the numbers, the real story here is why this deal matters, because this partnership, it isn't about GPUs. It's about positioning, credibility, and who is going to have the power in the next wave of AI innovation. This is the first time that we've seen a real shift in AI infrastructure power, and AMD is right in the middle of it. You do need to remember, though, that no matter how massive this one catalyst is, and AMD still faces some risks, and I'm going to cover that in a future video, so don't miss it. So, now that AMD is shot up, is the stock a buy? Well, a consensus among 44 analysts still rate the stock a moderate buy with a high price target of $230. So that's about 13% still in upside from here. The average score is 4.25 and has been down slightly over the last 3 months, though I imagine this is probably going to increase soon. So the market's optimistic but cautious, and everyone's going to be waiting to see if AMD can actually deliver on this hype. But what do you think? Is this partnership the start of a new era for AMD, or is the market just celebrating too soon? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, of course, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It'll help others find the video, it supports the channel, and you won't miss out on my future deep dive. Well, that's it for me today in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.